Today I will be sharing my home office setup which I use for software engineering, content creation, and gaming. This setup was put together with the intention of being functionally minimal. I've put many hours of research into the setup, but I know it's not perfect, so if you see any room for improvement at all, please let me know in the comments. I'll have links to some of today's gear in the description below, with the rest being on my website. And with that being said, let's get started. First up is my standing desk. I got this one in particular because of the aesthetic and 1-inch thick hardwood top. The overall build quality turned out to be solid, and the only real problem I have with it is that the dimensions are slightly smaller than advertised. Sitting on top of the desk is my desk shelf, which helps me with storage and organization while also eliminating the need to mount my giant monitor. As for my monitor, I have the Samsung 49-inch G9 OLED. I really love the one monitor look, and given that it's a 240Hz OLED display, it's obviously amazing for gaming, but it's also really good for productivity. For example, when I'm building my website, I can have a code editor open in the middle half of the screen, while simultaneously having documentation and a live testing environment open on the sides. The biggest downside to this monitor is that it doesn't have USB-C charging or DP alt mode, which forces me to have an additional dock. My home keyboard is not my favorite in terms of sound, but I got it because of the low latency wireless connection in case I play games and I don't want to plug in the keyboard. Oh, and also, the OLED display is pretty sick. For my mouse, I'm using the Logitech G604. The combination of a wireless low latency connection and 8 additional buttons makes it perfect for gaming and productivity. It fits my use case so perfectly that I even have a spare in my closet. Next up is a mini Thunderbolt 4 dock from Anker, which charges and connects my work laptop to my monitor and peripherals. And in order to share my peripherals between my home PC and work laptop, I use a 4-port USB switch. I recently received this awesome magnetic cable from Magtame. I think the utility really speaks for itself, and the only downside is the weight, which is only a small problem for everyday carry. For full specs of my PC, you can check out my website, but there is a 4080 Super inside. These days, I use it mostly for content along with some gaming and coding. So this chair is one of those chairs that always pops up on those best ergonomic chairs lists. It's super sturdy and of course it's fully adjustable. The only downside is the price tag, which is like $1,200 brand new, but luckily for me, I managed to snag one for only $600 off of Facebook Marketplace. The content gear at my desk is pretty standard. I'm not very knowledgeable about cameras and microphones, so I just went with the stuff that's really popular because there's a ton of resources around them already. I mainly use this setup for recording voiceovers, like right now, and talking heads. Finally, for lighting, I have a Logitech key light for my face, a curved monitor light bar for my desk, and for ambient lighting, I have a bunch of Govee smart RGB lights which are hooked up to Alexa. So that concludes the functional part of the office store. I know it was a pretty high-level overview, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Most of the decorations for my office are concentrated on this shelf in the corner. I like to have at least one plant in each room, and this one here is a ficus. I think it's a ficus bonsai or something like that. And then I really like anime, so I've got one of my faves, Full Metal Alchemist, on a display. Everything I have inside of this display case came from gacha machines during my trip in Japan. I actually managed to get pretty lucky with most of these polls where I got exactly what I wanted within like the first 1 or 2 polls, like with Hisoka and Anya. I even got the full set of the 4 One Piece Admirals in like 6 polls. Also, since the shooting of this video, I have added a new piece of art to the wall, which will be featured in episode 11 of my day in the life of a meta software engineer vlog. So if you'd like to see what else I'm cooking up for the office, you might want to subscribe.